Hi everyone, it's Annie from Vintage Lace Journal, and today I'm here with part 2 of my junk mail journal, and today I'm going to be covering the covers. So I'm going to do the front cover, the back cover, and both of the inside covers as well. So I've chosen some papers that I think I'm going to be using, some kind of like tags and labels. I've got these Tracy Fox ones. I've obviously got my scraps of papers and old book pages, that kind of thing, just to kind of like decorate the front of this up. So if you remember, I left this on the side because that's going to be used to wrap around to close the journal, because obviously this is going to get quite nice and chunky once I start decorating the inside. Okay, so let's make a start. Now first of all, I've chosen over here, I've got some images from the book. So these are ones I've all cut out. These are nice big standalone flowers, which I thought would look really nice on the front cover. So first of all, I've got this nice brown paper or cardstock, and I'm just going to cut this. It's going to leave a little bit of a border around the edge, and I'm going to then ink them both together at the same time. So if I just bring in my pencil, and I'm going to cut that just down there. So I hope you're all keeping well. It's been a bizarre week for weather, I think. In the UK it's just been consistently miserable, grey and raining, where other parts of the country it's been absolutely scorching. So I hope you're keeping safe wherever you are. It's strange times we're living in weather-wise. Okay, so I'm going to just attach that to the back as it is. And I'm going to use fast tack glue. This is quite thick cardstock. I'm ashamed I'm going to cut this off the back, but you know what it's like when you get double-sided cardstock and you never know which side to use for the best. But there was more than one sheet, so I have managed to get some of these off. Got a blockage on the tube, I feel of it. So making sure, obviously, glue right up to the edges on this, because this is quite thick cardstock. It's going to need a little bit of pushing down. Obviously some papers can be a lot thinner, and if you're using a digital kit, you obviously don't print on normal paper. So I'm going to have the darker side to the right, going up to the lighter side on the left. Give that a real good push down so it sticks. And then I'm just going to go on with my ink. I'm using Vintage Photo Distress ink. And that will obviously lift up the brown as well as the edge of the paper as well. This paper is quite dark brown, so you probably won't notice it, but it kind of just blends the Amagen packaging into the rest of the project. There we go. So that's front, and I'm just going to pop paper on the back before I do the front cover. Again, I've got this lovely cardstock, this beautiful flowers that fits the rest of the theme. So I'm just going to measure that. I just want to leave a little bit where that bend is, and cut there. Obviously you can measure this with a ruler and then cut if that's the way you prefer to do things. I just like to mark with a pencil. And in between me marking them with some and go to get my trimmer, I can guarantee I'll forget where the mark is. Okay, so we've got one just there. And the other one just there. And I'm not going to cut all the way down, because obviously I'll cut this beautiful picture in half and I can use that for another project. So just cutting out that section I need. Okay, and that fits beautifully on the back just there. So again, lots of glue, especially on those edges. I always over glue. Better to be safe than sorry, especially if you're selling your projects. Which I'm going to start doing. I'm off now for summer holidays, work as a teacher, so it's nice for me to now be able to focus on my craft for a while. Just going to open that up and get that really stuck down. And yeah, I've made the decision to open an Etsy shop. So some of the things you might see me make on here will then obviously be available in my shop. So again, just going around with that brown, pull it all together. There we go. And I'm just going to do that bit of spine just where the string isn't sitting, just so it all blends in nicely. Okay, so back cover's got that beautiful flower pattern on it. I'll probably leave that as it is. I might put a little sticker or something here, but I'm going to concentrate now on the main front cover. So I'm going to do some collage on the front cover with some book pages, musical notes, all these kind of like little bits and pieces I've got in here. Then I've got this die cut frame, and I'm going to use that on there because I think my favourite photo or picture was this lovely pink flower. I think that makes it, rather than just putting it straight onto the background, this kind of like lifts it up. So I'm just going to start playing with images, see where I like things. So I'm going to put some book page behind there. And I've got a little field notes label that's going to pop down the corner there. I might put some musical notes. Just kind of like play around with things, see what fits, what doesn't fit. It kind of like just ties your background in. Lined paper. You don't need a lot, just kind of like little bits to just pull things in. I might put that behind there. Take that one off. Start laying these down, I think. So I'm happy with my book page part there. And again, just using a wet glue to give that extra stick. And go there. Bring that down a bit so that I'm going to have the music coming just there. And I might just tuck that behind it before that sits. And kind of like layer, crisscross, move things around. Keep putting my topper back on top. Happy with that there. So I've still got my space for my field notes. So I printed these out onto sticker paper. This is the Tracy Fox range. I'll link the Etsy. Put the Etsy link at the bottom if you wanted to buy some of your own. I think they were only £2 or £3. There's loads. Obviously, once you've got the download, you can then download and print as many as you like. So putting that in there. Let's have another little look. So happy with that there. Happy with that there. I think I just need something up here. I've got one of these. This is a Crafter's Companion, but it's a dotty glue pen. So when you're doing anything with holes in it, it's really good because it puts the glue down just, I don't know how it works, quite clever, just on the bits. And there's no kind of like glue showing through the holes. There you can see there's no glue in them holes there. It's quite clever. Sticking that on there, and then popping that there. This is a fun part, I think, when you've made your journal And obviously I'm just doing the front covers and the inside covers today, and then doing all the inside bits of the page, just think about what goes where. And I think once you've got a theme, it's always really good to then kind of like know what you're doing. So I've obviously chosen, my theme for this was the book I found in that charity shop. Excess glue, just wipe that off. And I've got this little date. I'm just going to pop that up there. This glue is quite good, so if you do get it everywhere like I do, it's got rubbable quality, so it does rub off. There we go, our front cover done. I might add some little bits of gems and things on here. So back cover, like I said, I'm quite happy with. I might just see if there's just a little label that would go up the corner. It's got a pinky kind of colour. And obviously these, do it on camera, these labels have got like blue, pinks, brown colours. And this goes quite nice. Just a little something to fill that blank corner. Could use a butterfly as well, I suppose. There we go. So back cover and front cover done. So moving on to the inside now. So as you'll see down the bottom here, it's got Amazon text from the packaging. So what I tend to do is come in with just a sanding block and just go over, making sure you've got a window open because obviously it's releasing fibres out. Just go over that and gently rub, just to take off that very fine top layer of black ink. So if you can see now, gone. I don't need to go very far in, just off the sides where you can have that little bit of a border. So top tip there. Get rid of that text, just sand it away. So I've now got a nice border for when I put my next piece of paper on. And I've got this kind of like a neutral green kind of colour. It goes darker down the bottom and on the top. So I was thinking about using this here, and then I'm going to create a pocket from the book pages. So like I said, some of these images lent themselves to being cut out as a whole image. Some of them are a little bit more tricky, but you could easily just cut round and use them as a pocket down the bottom, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to cut this one out first. So I'm leaving the tiniest of borders on this. So again, just mark with a pencil your edges. And then just trim those off. And again, I'm not going to cut the whole thing. Sometimes you might use the paper for other things. So just cut out the section you need. Okay, so that sits in there nicely. We've got a nice blank canvas for anything to go on then. It's kind of like quite subtle in colours. This is a beautiful paper pad. I often go to the Range or the Works where I live. The Range has been pretty poor, to be fair. They've not updated their paper pads in the Yarmouth store at all, which is quite sad really, because there's not many craft shops around here, living on the East Coast, unless you're going to the city of Norwich, and it's a bit of a travel. So yeah, it'd be nice to see the Range up their game a little bit. Okay, so now I've got that blank canvas of a background. Learnt a new tip the other day. I was pulling these out and making a right mess, but somebody said obviously these books are bound together with threads, and actually rather than pulling pages out and ripping them all, if you look down here you can actually clip open the threads and then the pages come out easily. So here, as you can see, where that page is bound together with that thread, just pop your scissors in and snip. That releases the pages so much easier without causing a mess. So now these pages just lift out and there's no big rips down the middle. So thank you, whoever that tip was. I'm going to use this lovely colour here. So there we go. So now I can just, she says, lift this one out. Oh, that's because that's the last one in the set of 3, so it's been glued in as well. But to be fair, that hasn't ripped the holes or anything, so that's a top tip. Okay, so I'm going to cut the text off the bottom because I don't want that in there. And then I'm going to cut that just above where these 2 flowers sit. There we go. And then trim that there. And then I'll just take a little bit more of that. To create our first pocket. So that was going to sit the same width as the piece of card I've just trimmed. So that should now sit in there like so. And this part here is quite handy. I'm going to use my 2-inch hole punch just to cut a notch. And that works out quite well there. I'm just going to come in with my ink. Just ink along the edges of this. Again, just to lift it from the background. Don't need too much. There we go. And I'm just going to use my finer glue just to go around the edges and the bottom. Got a blockage in here now as well, even though my pin's been in. There we go. Nope, abandon. There we go. So that creates the front pocket. And that sits exactly on that page there. Beautiful colours, really lifts that. Okay, so when we come to decorate this, I'm going to do all the tags and things that go inside, but obviously I'll come to that at a later date. I might put something across here like a title. Haven't thought of that bit just yet. So onto the back cover. Okay, so again, this is a cover I'm going to do with some book page. And again, choosing one of these beautiful images. I move my trimmer. It's quite a nice one for the bottom. So I might just tear this, give it more of a junky feel. There, and the other side. Kind of like go with the flow when you start to decorate things. I've got no real plan. Again, up this side. That's the fun thing about journaling. Just make it up as we go along. Okay. So I'm going to need to trim off a little bit more this side. Trying to tear in a straight line is good fun. Where are we up to? Okay, it doesn't matter if it comes out here because obviously I'll link the edges in a moment. I'll just take a bit of that white off the bottom. There we go. Quite like that. Not sure what happened there. I think my camera had gone off. I'm just going to cut this down just a little bit, just so it's roughly just about an inch. I'm just going to cut a piece off there. There we go. So it doesn't cover too much of that picture up there, but it's got that nice area. You can still slot something in there. So top and bottom. I'm going to do more top than bottom, so I've got that little bit there. That one covered up. Okay, what I might do as well is now some of the cut flowers and things I've got, I might pop that onto the belly band as well. Just to give that bit of a decorative edge. There we go. There's our belly band with our flower on top there as well. There we go. So our front cover is done. I'm going to add some gems on here. Not sure what colour. Let's have a little look. These ones are quite nice. They're quite sort of a pastel-y colour. I'm going to choose some of those. And again, it just fills up this dead space. I always like to pop them on my end of my craft knife. There we go, and just plonk them on in various places. Gives it a little bit of a lift. And I think as well, I'm going to add a butterfly, I think here and here. So again, just choosing the right colours to link in with my theme. Let's pop those away. Let's have a little look. Choices. Oh, that's quite a nice pink butterfly. That would look quite nice. So these are Shabby Dabby Doodah. If you've ever not seen Shabby Dabby Doodah's channel, go and follow this lady. She is amazing. The journals she makes are just phenomenal. And I think these are one of her freebies on her website. Yeah, she's been doing craft for quite a year. I think she's going through a bit of a rough time at the minute. So yeah, go and give her channel a look. And I know you'll give it a follow because she's just brilliant. So I printed these ones out onto just normal copy paper. And then obviously you can stick them as and where you like them. Try and choose things that link in with the colour themes. Obviously with the pink flower, the pink butterfly, or brown to go with the browns and creams. Often when you hold something up to your page, you can see whether it'll go or not. There we go. I'm just going to stick that one just there. And just a little one up here as well, I think. So I'm going to choose a smaller one. So these came in different sizes. So I'm just going to go for a smaller one up top. And I think I'm going to go, because it's quite dark up here, I might go for that white one. Yeah, it's quite subtle, it kind of blends in a little bit there. You don't want to overdo it with the embellishments. And I always find smaller scissors are better to cut with when you're trying to cut small embellishments. Smaller scissors are better, and then move the paper, not the scissors. As you can see, I'm spinning the paper around rather than my scissors. There we go. And that butterfly's going that way, so I'm going to pop that one that way. So, pleased with that. So, front cover, back cover, and we've got our inside with our pocket, and I will put a title up here when I find one that I think is appropriate. And then our back cover with our belly band. Obviously then I can put something in here. So my next video is going to be creating the inside pages and bits and pieces to go inside. I did link in my previous video the lady who I copied this from, so I took inspiration from her, so that's now linked in my old video. So join me again please for part 3 when we start to decorate the inside of our junk mail journal. See you soon.